So today we're going to be talking about elevating your success is what we talk about every Wednesday at 11 o'clock. And the whole premise of this is really we're building better leaders for a better world. I'm Evan Mestman. If you guys don't know me, I think everybody here does. But my premise is really to help people lose weight with their minds, not their mouth. And that's the weight on your shoulders, not just around the middle, by being intentional with your health. And most importantly, to help you quiet the inner critic. And that's really what we're going to be talking about today, the inner dialogue that we have, as well as the outer dialogue. And one of the wonderful things that we are offering as a gift to you guys for coming today is a free training. One is on discovering your inner critic. And Jody is here with me, who's a spiritual aligned CEO, speaking truth. And that's her training that she's going to be offering also. So I don't know if Jody, if you can put that in the chat so that everyone can see that. Part of what I want to ask everybody today is, why is it this topic a challenge for a lot of business owners and leaders? Because what I found, and as I've worked with leaders, is that they get overwhelmed with everyday tasks. They're really managing things and leading people. And every day they're putting all these fires out and they feel like they're burning out. Like they wake up every day and it's overwhelming. But on Sunday, they get the Sunday dreads for Monday. And most importantly, they feel like they're missing out on the little things in life. And, when you think about going to your kid's soccer game or just having a date night with your significant other or just enjoying some time now, it's beautiful out, it's summertime, going for a walk and enjoying this beautiful weather. There are so many people out there that say, you know what? I just don't make time for those things. Well, I want you to imagine yourself looking at this view here. And I want you to think of this as your life. And I want you to think of that monocular that you're looking through is what you can focus on in your life. If you try to focus on everything, that's where the overwhelm comes. Our brains are really designed to be focus machines and then to learn what you can do to make it automatic. That's why we live our lives with habits. And if we are really waking up every day and getting out of the bed on the same side of the bed, walking to that bathroom and doing our business the same way we normally do, and taking the toilet paper and folding it or squishing it just the way you normally would, and then brushing your teeth, when you think about then coming downstairs, making that pot of coffee, all of these things are automatic. They're habits. And we're constantly imitating what we did the day before, because this wonderful spicy meatloaf in our heads in this box, they're prediction machines. And when we really want to grow and change, we need to learn. We need to get out of the idea of predicting. And that's the real challenge, because that makes us feel uncomfortable. Our brains want to keep us safe and they want to keep us in that repeating the same thing over and over again. The best way to really imagine this is to think about all the things in your life that are out there. Just think about all these words that are popping up on the screen. Sometimes it might be that you're focused on self-doubt and self-criticism, guilt and pressure. But what if you're thinking about play or community or meaning in your life? What if there's a major focus, like one of my clients just said, hey, my wife's father just passed away. Now the focus is on immediate family. It all depends on the circumstances that we have, but it's really our perception of it, because life doesn't change. We have this all in front of us no matter what. Our focus changed. So it's not the circumstances that are important. It's the perception of these circumstances. And I want to help you change your perspective today. That's how you elevate your success. So I want to challenge you to imagine that, a lot of times we think this life of ours, we're physical beings having this existence. But what if we imagined ourselves as spiritual beings having a human existence? It's a reframe. And I think that we're hardwired as humans for our comfort zone. But that other part of us is hardwired for growth. And it's the duality of these two that I think allows us to seek our purpose, to find joy in life, because that's really the goal, is to really feel like we have agency, like we have purpose, that we are useful engines. And then it's really about being grateful for that, right? That what we have is enough. Gratitude and agency are the things that drive our growth. And a lot of the times people get caught up in this page of all the things of being overwhelmed. And part of what I want to do today is to teach you how we can bring that boil down and the overwhelm down by just reframing. Jody, I know that this is a topic that's near and dear to you. So if you wanted to share.
I would love to. Thank you. Evan, I found myself in a place of focus, of overwhelm, of frustration. And the inner dialogue sounded like, is this it? Is this all life is? And my outer dialogue sounded like, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm good. And I'd shrug my shoulders. However, on the inside, I was really feeling fear as well as anger because I was following patterns. I was following the human concept of go to college, get a degree, get a job, get, very consumerism. And at one point, and I'm sure most of you experienced this as well around 2020, what is this life really all about? And I shifted my perspective from saying life's happening to me, being in this victim mindset, and I dove inward to really listen and observe my thoughts and observe my outer conversation. And at this moment is when I shifted my perspective, as what you're encouraging those here today listening, is to see ourselves from the soul's perspective, having a human experience. Because when I was in my human experience, this is all life is, and then I die. What the heck is this all about? Rather, I'm a spiritual being having this human experience. What is this journey all about? Playfulness, having fun, joy. And as Evan loves to talk about mojo, moments of spontaneous joy. And at this point in my life, I was having some joy. However, it was stifled by the pattern I was following. And when I broke through this pattern, the joy is there always, and the peace is there. It's allowing yourself to uncover it from, as I did, uncovered it from my fear and anger. So thank you, Evan, for allowing me to share personally how this looks for individuals.
Well, thanks for sharing that. So I want to just you imagine this is a client of mine, just so you can understand, looking through that lens initially of before being very anxious all the time. This client also was always saying yes to everybody and everything as a pleaser. That was one of her inner critics, is to please the what we call the harmony enthusiast. I need to make sure everybody's happy. I have to create harmony, even if it's at the expense of my own harmony. And that really led to disconnection from her own needs. And she got resentful. There was a little passive aggressive in there, because if she didn't get the love, like, you don't appreciate me, boy, there was a little challenge there where she ended up then getting so caught up in being busy instead of being productive, because she would be doing so many things, but not really focusing on what was truly important to her. So she had no time to do anything, let alone exercise, go food shopping, and take better care of her diabetes. And she was constantly disappointed. Not a great place to be. Well, after we worked with her on understanding who her inner critic was and learning then how to accept that inner critic, she started to feel grounded. She started to have these conversations with herself to learn how to say no and how to reframe it so she could have a win-win for those people that she said no to, but also saying yes to herself, because that's what no meant. She started to feel better about being connected to the things that were happening in her life and enjoying her life, as I like to say, living her life in forward motion, that she had momentum. And instead of focusing on what she didn't have, she started to focus on what she had, and she started to make deposits. Deposits, to me, it's like you go to your job or you work at your business and you earn a paycheck. That paycheck in the beginning might not be a lot of money, so you're you're constantly worried about how you're going to pay the bills. So there's really no freedom. It's just you get up to work, but suddenly you work hard enough to generate enough revenue so that you now have the freedom to grow your business, go out and spend some money on the things that are important to you, or invest in helping more people. And that's what making deposits is all about. There's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual needs that we all have. And if we focus on making those deposits, to me, that's how you live your life in forward motion. And that's how you turn expectations into anticipation, which does not have a good or bad outcome. It's just the anticipation of living your life. And that's where gratitude comes in and celebrating the small victories. So, part of what I'm talking about making deposits is like planting a seed. I love this. I've created a quote. It's inspired by Stephen Covey. But the idea is that our thoughts come from our belief systems. And it's think of it as your mind, your brain. And then that what that thought does is generate a feeling, and the feeling's in our body. If we have most of our thoughts in the day, which if we just wake up and we don't be intentional, up to 75% of our thoughts, typically they repeat themselves, are negative. And if you have those thoughts and you have that negativity, that negative feeling, it's going to lead to actions that are not necessarily helping you live life in forward motion. So the idea is to plant new thoughts so that you can have new feelings. So those new thoughts will lead to a different feeling in your body, that feeling of being uncomfortable. So it's going from your comfort zone to your uncomfort zone. That uncomfortableness, though, means you're living your life moving forward. And that's going to lead to new actions and new habits, which leads to new character. And it doesn't happen overnight. That's where being consistent and making commitments. It's one of the things that I work with my clients. I have a commitment log, and this commitment log, I have it on Amazon, but this is a daily GPS for anybody wanting to live their life in forward motion.
And you may
So,
be asking yourself, if I'm one of these people of 70% of negativity loop, how do I plant a new thought? Well, Evan has a solution for us. Go
yes,
ahead, Evan.
it's a start. Yeah. So exactly. Thank you for that segue. You don't want the negative thoughts, which is coming from that inner critic, which are the layers of your identity that have been created to keep you safe. We're here in a human world to survive and procreate. So this human part of us wants to keep us safe, keep us in the comfort zone. But you really don't want the inner critic being the CEO of your life, do you? And the inner critic is more than just one identity. I have 10 that are listed here. It could be the detail deacon who is always focused on the details instead of the big picture, or the comfort seeker who's keeping you safe in the comfort zone, not comfortable getting uncomfortable. Or it could be the overdrive samurai, the one who makes the decisions on their self-worth by their achievements versus something internal. I want you to look at this picture here, and I want you to understand that this is your comfort zone. Just imagine that this is your comfort zone, and everything outside of that circle is the discomfort zone. Now, I want you to imagine these inner critics live in a certain place. Some of them are in your comfort zone, and some of them really push you outside your comfort zone and into the discomfort zone. So you don't even want to deal with it. It'll drive you back to your comfort zone. The problem is that most people don't like change. It's the main issue that I have, as far as if you look at the top reasons why people are stuck, it's because they're afraid of change. But change is inevitable. It's an illusion that you think things are going to stay the same. So the inner critic, though, wants to keep you in that illusion. It's one of the biggest lies that it says to you, saying, hey, if you just keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna be fine, you're gonna be safe. So it pushes you back. Once you go back, you go out of that comfort zone into the discomfort zone, you're pushing into fear. And then beyond the fear is pain. The fear is only an inch deep, but it's a mile wide. A mile. What you need to know is that you can't really find a way around it. You need to push through it. And that's where reframing comes in. That's one of the reasons why becoming aware of your inner critics and bringing them to the surface, you can shrink them. I used to have an inner critic that was 6 feet tall. I keep him up here on my shelf. He's now 8.5 inches tall. It makes it a lot easier. But well, what's the alternative? What do? You have to develop your inner coach. And that's the part of you that's kinder. That's the part of you that helps you by saying, hey, like Jody was saying in the beginning, that there's that dialogue of how are you doing? Well, I'm doing pretty good today. Instead of listening to the part of you that says, oh, it's going to be a miserable day, because you're not your thoughts and you're not your feelings. When you think about your thoughts and your feelings, think about separating yourself from that, realizing you're the witness to those thoughts and feelings. And when you first do that, that creates that first awakening of self-awareness, of being. And that's really where we need to be, is to start being focused on how do we get and expand that comfort zone beyond where it is, so that the comfort zone actually includes your discomfort zone. And that when you feel discomfort or pain or fear, you just go, that's great, because I'm creating new neural pathways by having new thoughts and new feelings. And I'm in the learning zone. That's what has to happen in order to get into the growth zone. And that's where the magic happens. But the learning zone is the suck zone. It's where you're dealing with difficult people. You're dealing with problems that are insurmountable, but they seem it. And you're also learning new skills, which, it's like riding a bike. First time you got on the bike, everybody, I guarantee you fell off, right? Everybody fell off. I can't imagine there's somebody out there, unless they had really great parents were holding on all the time. Okay. And they also had training wheels that just stayed on forever. So who is your inner critic? Can anybody relate to this inner critic, that voice in your head that you hear whispering lies in your ear?
Yeah, his name's Saruman.
To keep you safe. Say it again.
Yeah, his name's Saruman.
I love it. You gave him a name. That's super. And so, can you relate to the inner coach also, that other part of you that is kinder?
Yes, he's shaking his head. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's part of the challenge, is how do we develop that inner coach? And that's first identify your inner critic so that it doesn't create this anxiety. Stop giving it power and start understanding it's there to keep you safe. It just doesn't serve you anymore. Start being kinder, start making deposits, which is what discovering your inner critic is all about. And that's what the quiz is about. And then I have another course that's, once you discover it, what do you do? Well, what about quieting that inner critic? It's a 21-day challenge that every day you just have a small little exercise to do that's going to help you reframe how you've been handling your life, so that by the end of 21 days, your inner critic can be 8.5 inches too. So the idea is to take back control. The way you do that is by taking the quiz, getting started with that. And also think about the solutions beyond being aware. It needs to be that you accept that this is the way that you've lived your life, and you've created these identities to protect yourself. Well, the solution means there needs to be a reframe. And that's part of why I've created Elevate Your Success Through Intentional Health. I use habits. I think habits are the first thing we need to work on. And then after habits comes the intention, which is where focus comes in. And then we focus on my pillars, which is nutrition, attitude, and total fitness, body, mind, spirit, which leads to mojo. And more moments of spontaneous joy. And those are the three pillars: attitude, nutrition, and total fitness. And remember, you want to first recognize who your inner critic is, because when you shine light on it, it's going to shrink it and take power away from it. Then identify those patterns that exist so that you can see where those neural pathways light up. The neurons that fire together wire together. And what we need to do is to change the thoughts, which change the feelings, which change the actions. It creates new neural pathways. And it just takes intention by being kind and celebrating steps along the way, because change has to feel good. If change, it's not easy, but if change doesn't feel good, you're not going to get the dopamine dose, which leads to the adrenaline that gives you that good feeling by doing something differently and being successful. So as we've spoken before, these are the courses are in the chat. I just want to click on one of these. I'm going to click on Jody's, just so you can see it's on the Great Discovery, which is a great platform for content creators that we're using. And all you have to do is sign up through, and up here, I don't know if you can see my
It would
cursor.
be the middle one, the click here to access, the middle green bar.
Well,
yes.
That bar, that would be if you're at this point, but first you're going to go to the Great Discovery. You need to join, but you want to join with this link. You want to make sure that when you click the link, you're going for the free,
which is the learner,
right? You don't have to spend any money on this. It's a free course.
Yep.
And then it will populate in the platform and you can watch it at your leisure.
And I would suggest downloading Evan's Inner Critic course first. In the link, you'll see there, Discover Your Inner Critic is the first link. And then my course is Speaking Truth, which is the second link. And I suggest Evan's course first because it guides you to discover and be aware of your inner voice. And then my Speaking Truth is guiding you to speaking truth as your outer dialogue. So Evan's course complements my course, the Speaking Truth outer dialogue. So as I said, Evan's course first would be very helpful if you're looking to know which course to download.
And these are all the ways that you can get in touch with me. This proattitudes.com/follow will also take you there. And I have other free gifts for you guys there, but also we have the QR codes here if you want to scan to take the quiz, but the links are in the chat. And I also offer, for anybody that is interested right now, I'm starting a group, the Pro group, which is for intentional health. I have Plus, which is do it yourself. Pro is the group. Elite is the one-on-one coaching. But in part of what I want to do is offer a special gift for those of you that have come today. I have an onboarding fee, which I'm now waiving that onboarding fee to get you started for those that are on today as a special gift. And Jody is offering, go ahead, Jody, you talk about what your special gift is.
Absolutely. Before I mention my special gift, also in the chat is a one-on-one appointment link with Evan or a one-on-one appointment link with me, guiding you to a one-on-one conversation with us to guide you to what the solution is best for you. My special offering today is a couples retreat on the island of Maui in January of 2025. However, very similar to Evan, I have group coaching as well as one-on-one coaching. I do recommend a one-on-one call with me first before you go ahead and book something. That way I can guide you to the best solution for you in this moment.
We have the calendar links that are in the chat. And I want to say thank you for everybody joining us today.